Greetings, everybody. It's Bill here. Welcome to Prop Live, your usually weekly, prop and costume making Q&A session. I'm Bill.
I'm Eric.
That's Eric, but you know him as Coregeek from Coregeek.net.
Bill and Eric just doesn't sound as cool as Bill.
No, it's not as good as Bill
and Ted. Yeah, no. I know.
I was just down in LA again. And Ted and I did film another installment of Bill and Ted's.
I am wearing Ted's shirt, though.
You are, yes.
There we go.
That's right.
Yeah.
There is another Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure coming soon. Well, it has been quite a month. The last time you and I hung out was in LA. Yeah. And I've been back to LA since then.
Yeah, you had quite the whirlwind month.
But you were there for
BlizzCon. Yeah.
Of course, I was there for BlizzCon.
Yeah, BlizzCon was pretty amazing.
That was your first?
My first BlizzCon.
And overall, what'd you think?
Absolutely fabulous.
You'll be back?
I would love to. All right. Yeah, I would.
Good. It would be worse without you.
Yeah. Oh, well, thanks. I appreciate that.
So I was stoked. It was funny. You and Ted, on the second day, Ted didn't wear his costume.
Yeah.
But to see these two guys running around like children, just like giddy and joyous. That was something to behold.
Yeah, I just had. Yeah, I didn't even do a costume, and I had just so much fun running around and hanging with all the people I know, and I was a roving cosplay handler.
Yes, yeah.
All weekend, and that was great. So,
you did have something there though, probably more than one thing.
Yeah, I actually had two things there. Yeah.
Well, one of them was something you worked on, and that was here, let's do the thing. That was the Frostmourne sword that Vertvixen was carrying. There it is.
Yep.
So what did you do on the sword? Because you didn't do all of it, but you did a lot of it.
Okay, so I basically did all the engineering for it. Mm-hmm. We had a little powwow over Skype for about 3 hours one night, trying to figure out how to make everything with that sword work. There's a lot of weird tolerances in narrow areas, like where the blade connects into the cross piece, where the handle connects into the top of the cross piece. Some of all those places where it's like trouble spots. We got those all figured out. She took that plan, created the 3D parts from scratch. I believe she uses Zbrush for the most part. Created things to what I wanted them to be. I got all of the 3D printed parts from her. I believe there was 28 pieces total. Because like the ram's horns, the large horns had to be printed in like 3 different pieces. So there's 2 horns, so that's 6 pieces. There's like a lot of things that you look at and you're like, wow, that's cool. But you don't realize that it all had to be assembled in parts and then cleaned up and all that. So.
And then sanded and filled.
Sanded and filled. 16 hours of sanding for that project.
Oh, goodness.
I created the blade from scratch. That was all done out of pine wood.
I like that you keep track of how many hours you spend sanding.
Yeah, well,
I don't. I just pour those hours into a bucket. I never speak of them.
Well, people always ask, there's like, how much time do you spend on this? Well, the construction doesn't take that long. It's the sanding that takes forever. And then everything else I was responsible for. The lighting, figuring out how to make it, fog. She specifically wanted the eyes to light and the fog to come through the eyes and nowhere else. And so I had to figure out how to light the eyes, backlight the eyes so you don't have hot spots, but also have some spacing for the fog to come out of the skull. It was quite the feat. I think we did a great job together.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a great collaboration, and I look forward to doing
the smoky eyes.
Yeah, the smoky eyes.
That was really killer. That's the sort of thing when she was up on stage for the costume contest and pointed the sword out at the crowd, everyone just lost it.
Yeah, and she turns it on, and it's just like, that was one of my highlight moments of BlizzCon, was being backstage and watching that happen, and it was just great. So there was an amazing response from all the fans, because everybody there is, huge Blizzard fans.
Mm-hmm.
And we got a lot of compliments both on the sword and her costume as well, because she did all the 3D modeling for her costume, all the work on that.
Yeah.
Together, we put that whole costume was done in a month, which I think is
pretty insane.
It's pretty insane. Yeah. When she told me what she wanted to do, I told her she was insane, and I probably would not be participating. No.
Fantastic. So you've been throwing some little video clips up on your YouTube channel. Obviously, everyone should go over there, give it a subscription. And everything else is over at coregeek.net, including that first video we showed and a bunch of other stuff you've been working on. You have another sword you're working on, right? And you have it with you?
Yeah, I do. Well, this has just been a personal project, something that I wanted to try to build myself. And without, any guides or anything, because a lot of the times you find things that other people have built and stuff. Mm-hmm. So, I wanted to see if I could hand do this.
And that is all sword. Sculpted in clay, right?
Yeah, this was all sculpted.
Which is, I think,
this is a resin cast.
Yep.
Yeah, I was showing it to pictures to Frank Ippolito at BlizzCon, and he told me I was crazy.
Yeah.
So I guess that's a win there when somebody you look up to is like, "Yeah, you're crazy." Well, he's like, "Why didn't you CNC that?" I'm like, "I don't have a CNC machine." I'm like, "All I have is these two hands."
That is pretty bonkers. Well, that's really cool, and that's Wonder Woman's sword
from Batman and Superman.
Yeah.
So eventually, I'll get around to finishing this. Between finishing this and the next few weeks, I actually have another sword I have to start on, which is a commission that I was paid for at the beginning of the year.
Yep.
And that's Roy's sword from Fire Emblem. So, yeah. I'm not much of a gamer, so I don't really know Fire Emblem that well. But the last sword I did.
This thing here.
Yeah, that golden. Yeah, it's a little more standard looking of a sword than. That's probably like the in-game.
That's the image I
That's
have.
like the in-game sprite. That's probably the in-game sprite. So.
But you guys get the picture.
Yeah.
Neat. Well, pretty cool. I've got one thing I'm working on. I actually started this yesterday. Ta-da! Oh, it's very hard to see. It's all white foam PVC. If I just jam it up in there.
There you go. There you go.
It's Malcolm Reynolds' gun from the show Firefly.
So that's all just Sintra.
It's all Sintra. There's some styrene on there, and some acrylic. But for the most part, it's all foamed PVC. And this, I made the grips out of wood. So I'm going to paint it separately and then put the wooden grips on. Which I'm really excited about that. That's really
I think the all wood grips are a nice touch.
So I'm going to try and get most of the fabrication done on this tonight. And have a video up on Monday. A very important video. This is for our 100,000 subscriber video.
Yay! 100,000 6 months ago.
I was going to do quite a long time ago. Some things came up. But I'm doing it for you guys. And the way this one's going to work is I've got free blueprints for this. Very detailed blueprints that I'm using to put it together. And I'll give them out. And I'll put the video up and show you how I'm going to build it. Or how I am building it. And then I will encourage you guys to build your own. And I think I'll give them about a month to make their own, shoot a 10-second video of it, and then you send me that video, and I will put together a compilation of all the Malcolm Reynolds guns that you guys make, and I'll put that video up on the Punished Pops channel.
That'd be very cool.
Yeah, I figure it'd be a good way to sort of thank you guys for tuning in and showcase your work, and we all get to make the same project, and it's a really fun project, and you can do it pretty quick. Like I said, this is about maybe, 6 or 7 hours I've put into this so far.
So, Inferno wants to know any reason you chose PVC.
I have a lot of it, a lot of scrap lying around. And this is durable enough. I'm not going to mold and cast this. It's durable enough by itself. MDF might not be as durable and it'd be susceptible to moisture. But mostly because I have a ton of scrap lying around, so that's what.
And it's pretty easy to work with too.
It is. It doesn't have a grain in it. Sands really easily. It finishes really easy. But really, the main reason is I have a ton.
Just have a lot.
I have a ton of it. So that's why. But I will say, in the video, I'm going to encourage everyone, make it however you want. Make it out of foam. Make it out of cardboard, MDF. Mold it, cast it. Make it out of warbler. 3D print it. Sculpt it out of clay.
Oh, sculpt it. There you go.
Out of monster clay. That's how Eric's going to build his.
I don't think so.
Make it out of wood. I don't know. I want to see a lot of different.
Maybe I'll make, since I have a woodworking background.
Yep.
Maybe I'll make an all wood one.
See, that would be really cool.
Yeah, and have an all wood grain, finished really nice.
That would be amazing.
Maybe I'll
now,
do
if you don't do that, I'm going to be pissed. That's a great idea. So
I haven't done a pure woodwork project in a long time. So
well, that would be a good one. Anyway, that's what I'm working on the next couple days. I also have the Boolean Gemini, which just needs to be sanded and glued together for the next video. So that will probably be out Saturday. Tomorrow, I'm going to be driving around Seattle, so I won't be able to put that out. But that's coming up soon. So just know that in the background, I've been doing a lot of sanding. That's about it. That's all the updates I have for now. Till get some more of these projects out the door. We do have some questions from our wonderful prop tarts. If you guys are watching live, then punishprops.com/live is the place to go to submit your prop and costume making technique questions or whatever else you'd like to know. You can send them over there and we'll do our best to answer them. We do actually have a pretty good pile, so we ought to get to it. Let's see here. Oh, Koss Armor says, I have a bunch of different exotic hardwoods you can make it out of.
Oh,
awesome.
Cool. Very cool.
Yeah, get a hold of Eric, because he has to do it now. He's obligated. Okay, Netty R? I'm sorry. Netty. There we go. How do you stencil on fabric, specifically your N7 armor? There are a couple of ways you could do it. Brittany put up a video recently of the tabards that we made. And those stencils were made on our vinyl cutter with a vinyl, a stencil vinyl, a low-tack stencil vinyl. So it's like a sticker. So we cut out the stencil, stuck it down, painted the fabric, peeled it off. Bob's your uncle. For my N7 armor, the undersuit, I made a stencil out of just a piece of plastic. You can get stencil plastic at like Joann's or Michael's.
Cool.
I cut out a hexagon pattern, and I just used a fabric paint and a stippling brush and did it that way. Turns out you can buy those now, the Hexagon Stencils.
Really?
You can just buy them at Michael's. But you can also go to airbrush stores like online, or if you have one locally, and they make ones that are metal. And they're metal, so when you airbrush it, the air doesn't blow. They're heavy.
Back. Yeah. I've actually seen those before.
Mm-hmm. So if you're going to do a bunch of that, you could totally use an airbrush. You could totally use one of those stencils. But if you make one out of paper and you hit it with an airbrush, it'll flutter and then it won't work. It'll get air under it. So that's how I did mine. How about, what did you do for the undersuit for your Wreck-It Ralph costume?
I didn't do anything.
No.
I just left it black.
Just black. Okay.
Yeah, I mean that costume actually has a hex pattern under it, but I ran out of time, and then and once you're done, you're done. And I just never went. Nobody cared. No, I've never been called out on it, which surprises me. I always thought that somebody would be like, "Hey, that undersuit."
When I'm judging costume contests, that's one of the first things I look for.
Yeah.
Because I know that's the last thing they did.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
So I just didn't even try.
Yeah. Well, now you know if you want to finish it all the way.
No.
Let's see here. Thank you, Nettie. Staple Crop Rice says, I've been recently watching all of your videos, and sometime all of them, all 460 of them. From what I can tell, you're just adding water while you talking about wet sanding. My question is, what is wet sanding exactly, and why is it important?
Okay, so the deal with wet sanding is you're using a really fine grain of sandpaper. And what happens is you get really fine dust or particles coming off of that sandpaper. And the idea of wet sanding is, one, it lubricates the piece that you're sanding so the sandpaper glides over the piece more or easilier. And then also it rinses off those fine particles away from your material so you don't get gunk built up underneath your sandpaper. Yeah. So that's the whole idea behind wet sanding.
And then when you dunk the sandpaper,
it cleans the paper essentially. Because if you're using super fine sandpaper and you're not wet sanding, it'll just build up gunk really quick, and you just kind of have this smooshy mess underneath your sandpaper, and then it's not really sanding anything. So it lubricates and it cleans the paper.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Good question, Staple Crop. Next one, Lotus Blossom. I'm working on a foam armor build of Gogo Tomago. I don't remember which one that is, so I'm going to search for it.
I think Gogo's the honey and lemon? No.
Oh, the one with the speedy
wheelies. There you go. The wheelie girl.
Yeah, the wheelie girl. Let's see here. Unfortunately, I'm stuck on her wheels. I made the leg pieces and cut large foam circles for the wheels, but I can't figure out a way to attach the discs to the leg pieces without them sitting right up against my leg and still be stable or secured. Any suggestions? So here's the character. There she is. So we're talking about how they connect. Well, the wacky thing is, like, she actually rolls on them. So you're going to have to probably set them a little bit higher, like up on your calf.
Yeah.
So that, because you can't actually roll on, unless you actually build big skate wheel things, you're going to have to offset them a little bit. I would build some sort of like half moon shaped like crescent thing that's like, I don't know. I'll just draw it on this. Some sort of thing that would rest against your leg. I'm just throwing markers everywhere. But have it be flat on the other side. Like if you're looking down at it, it would be like that. So your leg is there. And that rests against it. And then you have a flat piece over here that you can adhere the disc to. And then you could put a strap that would go around your leg like that. If that makes sense at all. I don't know. I figure a lot of trial and error on something like that. Because it's going to want to slide up and down your leg. You're going to have to make it pretty tight. It's probably going to bounce around on the ground a bit. So.
Yeah, I can't think of anything better.
Yeah, just try something like that and see how it goes. You're not going to know until you try. I find that is with a lot of more complicated costume making stuff, you just kind of have to try something, see how it works.
Yep.
And go from there.
Yeah, trial and error is with a lot of things. Mm-hmm. Is usually what it comes down to.
Yeah, especially because in the movie or in a game, the animator's just like, here's her leg.
A wheel.
It just
wheel
goes there.
Magically stuck to her leg.
There, yeah.
And she can roll around on it. And physics don't matter.
45-pound battle axe, it just sticks to his back.
That's right.
Yeah. And
no connector, no.
And when he needs it, he can just reach back with either hand and just get it.
That's right.
Thank you, Lotus Blossom.
And it's twice as long as his arm.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's the one that always gets me. It's like you can't draw something funny on your back that's longer than your arm. It just
Fearless Facade says, do you have any recommendations for flexible silicone casting materials and paints that will adhere to them? This is to create a component cast in silicone. I'm not using it for mold making. You can get silicone paints. What you'll want to do is look up Immortal masks. Actually, there's a video that Tested did with them. I'll go find it real quick.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Oh, this is a good one. So they make masks out of silicone, and they all get painted with silicone paints, which might just be pigmented silicone. I'm not exactly sure.
Do they sell their own paints, or do they just have?
I think they just sell the mask.
They just have. Oh, okay.
This might be the video. Let's see here. Yeah, oh, you can see I was already watching it. Actually saw him at DesignerCon. But these are all, yeah, it's a mask. These are all cast silicone pieces, and then they paint them with whatever paints they use. So I will link you this video. You can go check it out, and that'll probably be a good starting place to figure out what they're using.
What type of paints they're using?
There you go. It's that. Whatever's in there. Whatever's in that container. Just use that.
Whatever that magical paint is.
But these are definitely smooth on containers over here. These are pigments.
Yeah, those are pigments.
Yeah.
So actually, that's probably Silk Pig.
Could be, yeah. Yeah.
I think I recognize the G there on the end of the label.
I will dump this link in the... Oh, Brittany already did that. Good job, Britt. Thank you. And obviously that will be in the show notes. That's just a good video to watch anyway. They're really super inspiring people.
Yeah, they do some amazing work. So, Frank Ippolito does a lot of their molding.
In fact, when I was just down there, they had
doing a new mold?
2 or 3 molds
for
them over there. It's kind of cool. Well, I don't know how much I should say about that. I will move on. They were doing some cool stuff for Immortal. Thank you, Fearless Facade.
I saw some cool stuff when I was there too.
Yeah. Did you have to sign anything?
No.
Okay.
But I got threatened to the end of my life.
grab another one. Space City Props. This one's for Eric. Well, what if I want to answer it? Based on the mini smoke machine that you made, would it be possible to have a stronger output, like if you used a stronger pump or a focus nozzle, to get a further projection to make it look like a rocket or a jet engine?
It's the only time I've ever worked with that kind of setup before. My guess is no. With those specific cartomizers, because they're just vape cartomizers, and they're not really made to run very long. You know, they're made for quick puffs on an e-cigarette. So I would think that you would probably need a higher output, something that could run a little longer, and to get more volume so that you could push more air through it. But with those specific cartomizers, I don't think you could, because in my tests, I could run them maybe 2 minute max before the little element inside of it would burn out, because they're not made to run for a really long time. So that system, even though it looks really great, is not a turn it on and let it run for half an hour kind of thing. It's you let it run for 10 to 15 seconds and then turn it off, let the cartomizers cool down, and then you can turn it back on again. So it's not ideal, but it works fine for short bursts. And we didn't have a lot of space to work with in that sword, so that was like one of the biggest things, is keeping things small enough to jam it all into that little cavity on Frostmourne. So I'm sure that if you did some research, you might be able to find some cartomizers that have a higher output and are maybe made to last longer. So it's possible, but probably not with that exact setup. Would be my guess.
We used this thing a while ago. It's basically a mini fog machine. You can find them on Amazon. In fact, I'll grab a link. There it is. It's called a Wizard Stick. It doesn't have great reviews, but it's a little handheld.
And it's $24, so it's like, what are you gonna do?
But this thing pumps out a pretty good amount of fog, so that's something you can definitely check out too. Go to Amazon, look up Wizard Stick.
Somebody called it a vape bong.
A vape bong, yeah.
Yeah, it does look like a vape bong.
All right, there you go, Space City Props. That's definitely the sort of thing that you're going to have to tinker with a bit to really fine-tune the output you want.
Yeah, there's just a lot of variables when it comes to that kind of stuff. So, and I didn't really have a lot of time to mess around with things to kind of really test stuff. So it was just like, it had to work.
Yep.
Built it and made it work, and that's what we had. So.
And then once you're done with that, you don't really feel compelled to solve that problem again.
Like, no, because it worked. Everybody at the con was wowed. Done. Alicia was very.
What if you put it in a sword twice as big? Like,
very happy with it.
That's not a problem I have.
Yeah, exactly. So, I may research it one day if I decide to do another build that needs more fog or whatever. But
what if you had like 10 e-cigs?
Yeah, you could. I mean, you could use more. I mean, if you had enough space, you could use like a Gatling gun of cartomizers, I guess.
All right. Sarah has a question. She was recently at the Northwest 501st Legion meet and greet. While I was there, a brand was mentioned for foam specialty resins. Specifically, the product was called Color Pro. I was told you would need to put 3 coatings of wood glue on the foam before use. It could then be sanded down. Do you know anything about this product or products by Specialty Resins for EVA? No.
I've actually never heard of Specialty Resins. Resin.
Me neither. That's kind of cool.
Huh.
Superior casting resins and RTV silicone rubber. So that's this place here. I don't know that would be much different than anything that Smooth On or Polytech has. I don't know.
Who knows?
I do know that there is a fiber lay like 15 minutes that way, and I've never been there. And they carry Polytech stuff, so I really ought to go check them out.
I didn't know that we had anything local like that.
Yeah.
Well, local for you.
Yeah, because I live down in the Seattle's butthole down here in Tequila. Thanks for the question, Sarah. Sorry, I haven't tried that particular thing. All right, Iron Mark Props says wants to know if we have any plans of visiting Germany next year. I will say that if Svetlana and Benny have anything to say about it, I will be visiting. They keep bugging us to go.
Yeah.
And then another friend of mine
That would be great.
Talking about doing a European trip. I will say that Brittany and I are, before we go to Europe, we have to go to New Zealand.
Yeah.
So that's what's happening next.
Yeah.
But then maybe within the next year we'll go to Europe as well. But if we make it across the pond, next time I make it across the pond in any fashion, I'm definitely going to Germany for sure.
Yeah, and I plan on going to Germany every year. I just never have the time or money to do it. So yeah.
That is the problem, isn't it? All right. If we do, I suppose you're in Germany, Ironmark Props. We'll have to have some sort of get together or meet up or something with German beer. I'll be there. All right. Albert wants to know, getting frustrated with curved cuts on EVA foam using only a handheld blade. Can you talk about your experience using a scroll saw and bandsaws? Are they really worth the higher price tags compared to cutting blades? And are there any particular saws that are better suited for foam crafting compared to the rest? If you have a bandsaw,
I do.
You use your foam with that a lot?
Sometimes. I generally just use a knife.
Yeah.
On inside cuts though, yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes for inside cuts, for curves, definitely a bandsaw can make a difference, especially if it's like really tight.
Rocket Man Props wants to know if Eric finally gave us his gift.
I did today.
Yeah.
I should go get it.
Go get it. And sooner or later, if you're gonna stick around in this hobby, sooner or later you're really gonna want to buy something like a bandsaw. So you might as well save up and just get it now. There it is. Thank you, Rocket Man. Very, very cool.
And just so everybody knows, it was given to me at PAX to give to Bill. And I've seen Bill like 4 times since then. And every time I'm like, I forgot it again.
So that's really neat. Thank you, man. Thank you, Eric, for finally giving it to me.
Yes. Well, you know.
So yeah, my attitude towards spending the money on something like a bandsaw, and right now, if I didn't have either a bandsaw or a scroll saw, I'd probably buy the bandsaw first. The major benefit is that a bandsaw can do so much more than just cut foam. Turns out you can cut wood and metal and plastics and all kinds of other stuff with it.
And you can with the scroll saw too.
Right? Yeah. So it just unlocks so many possibilities. You can do beveled cuts. You can use the fence to get even cuts. You can use the miter gauge. There's so many things you can do with a bandsaw, and they don't really cost that much. You can find one used on Craigslist for like $75. So,
I would say
whether or not it's worth the price, it's worth it to own a bandsaw for many, many reasons, not just for making props out of foam.
Well, and like a lot of things, right? It comes down to what saves you the most amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you can hand cut this, you can clean up with the Dremel, you can do all this other stuff, but you might be able to do the same thing with a scroll saw or a bandsaw and save all the time that it would to clean that up or something. Mm-hmm. And so at some point, it all comes down to time for all of us.
Hey Patch says he got a bandsaw in Gumtree. I imagine that's some British place.
Yes.
For 40 pounds. I want to see how many dollars that
like
is.
$65 or something.
And dollars. 40 pounds in dollars. 50.
50. Okay.
$50 US. That is a bargain.
Yeah. That
is a bargain.
And I bought a scroll saw 4 or 5 years ago off of Craigslist for $40.
Yeah. And
it was a really nice Grizzly, a $200 bandsaw or scroll saw when it was new. So
right. So just to finish off the bandsaw train. In fact, the video I shot with Ted is all about bandsaws.
Oh, is it really?
I like my bandsaw so much that I have 2 of them.
Yeah.
So I don't have to change blades. One of them has a blade just for doing foam, and the other one has a blade for doing wood and plastic.
And I actually don't have a bandsaw because I have a really nice table saw. And for the most part, other than the height, the majority of what you can do with a bandsaw, you can do with a table saw. So right. I have never gotten around to getting one. Although I would like to get one.
It's just ridiculously more frightening.
Yeah, but when you're cutting foam, it's like super easy because it's like
you put foam through the table saw.
Oh yeah, all the time.
Oh my gosh, I don't do that, but I just got a table saw and I've used it like 3 times. But now that I know that, I might have to.
Oh yeah, I use my router table on foam.
That's right.
It's just like. Nothing like a 3-horse router on a piece of EVA foam. It's just.
All right, thanks, Albert.
But if it kicks back, it doesn't matter because it's not going to hurt you.
No.
So it's just like, whatever.
Boing.
Yeah, it's great.
All right, Oni117. I was wondering if you ever considered using something like Rust-Oleum or Krylon paint primer on EVA foams as a sealant. I absolutely have. In fact, I go over that in my book. Foamsmith by Bill Duran. Yeah, that's actually our buddy Will Morgan liked to do that. I have one of his guns that he built, and it was primed basically with lots and lots of Krylon fusion, and then just wet sanded nice and smooth.
Yeah, which works well on static, non-flexible blocks.
Anything that's not going to bend, because it will crack.
Yeah, because if you do that, if you do it on armor, like EVA armor, and has any flexibility to it, the enamel's going to crack. Mm-hmm. So,
but that is definitely a great way to do it, especially if you're short on time. And if you already have the paint, and you don't have an airbrush, you can just spray paint it. Thank you, Oni117. Yanara has a question. I'm a visual artist, and I have a little shop of resin, resin eyes for ball jointed dolls. Okay, so makes the eyes for the dolls. Got it.
Little resin eyeballs.
The problem is I need a degassing chamber for my epoxy resin. The eyes I make are between 10 to 18 millimeters. I was told I need a pump that has 7.5 microns, but I can't even find that. So, a couple of things. Hey, Evil Ted's here.
Hey, Evil Ted. Hey, wait.
Oh, look at that! Yeah. Look at that guy! All right. Gotta showcase this shirt.
Pimpin' Evil Ted on the show.
I don't do a lot of casting with epoxy. I do know that if you use a longer setting epoxy, if it takes a few hours, then you usually don't have to worry about bubbles at all because they just float out.
Huh, interesting.
I've also heard people say that if there are bubbles on the surface, you can just graze it with a heat gun or a blowtorch and it will pop the bubbles. I've heard that too. If you're looking for a degassing chamber, usually that's for silicone to pull the moisture out. Usually when you're casting something,
it's pressure.
You would use a pressure pot for that. There's you'll have to look around. I bought my degassing chamber on Amazon. On eBay. I found a seller on eBay that makes them. And then I bought the pump for that. It was the 3.5 CFM pump from Harbor Freight. And that thing works just fine. That's for my degassing chamber. That's for pulling air out of the silicone, which we use today.
Yes, yeah.
Which that mold's probably done.
Yeah.
Pump. I just looked up the word pump on... There it is. View all pumps. It's this guy here. Where is it? Harbor Freight.
The 3 CFM?
Yeah. This it's a different model than the one I have, but it's basically this. It's a 3 CFM 2-stage vacuum pump. They usually use them for pulling Freon out of broken refrigerators. But it's really good for your vacuum chamber. Okay, so that's your vacuum chamber. They sell on Amazon just a kit you can buy of the whole thing. For the pressure pot, you buy the pressure pot. I got a paint pressure pot from Harbor Freight. It's not awesome. It works okay. I had to redo some of the fittings on it. And then I just use an air compressor to push air in. So if I'm casting something in the mold, like a resin, could be an epoxy, could be a urethane, you put it in there, fill it with air, it builds with pressure, and any bubbles get really compressed tiny if you don't see them. So that's the pressure pot / degassing chamber thing. Again, you're using epoxies. I don't do a lot of casting with epoxies, so...
It's pretty common for people to get those two things mixed around.
Mm-hmm. Yanara is pointing to a website of I guess that sells vacuum chambers pre-made. I'll tell you what, if you're doing a lot of this type of work, then buying a pre-made one might just be the easiest solution. My resin cures really fast. Talking about specific. I'm not sure about the 7.5 microns. I'm not sure what that's measuring, but if you're pressure casting it,
I'm not familiar with that either.
Yeah, a pressure pot with an air compressor is what you want. All right. Oh, I wish I remembered which one I just ordered. I just ordered a new pressure pot, and I'm very excited about it Because we have the one from Harbor Freight that works all right.
Yeah.
But
Did you order the off Amazon or
no
eBay or?
I'm gonna look it up. Gmail. Because I know I just ordered this. I want to show you guys where it's from. Pressure Pot. Is it not coming up? Where are my receipts? It's in my receipt folder. I'm sure of it. It was from not stamps.com. Finish Systems. Right. We got one that's a really, really good one. And their website's kind of terrible, but...
So what is it with painting companies and their 90s websites? Have you noticed that? Like almost all the paint companies, like
Pressure Pots, resin mold pressure pots,
Creatix and House of Color and all them. They just have like these.
Okay, resin casting pressure pot. So we got this, the 5-gallon one,
and that looks fancy.
Yeah, it's really nice. It seals really well. It's got big handles. And we specifically got this one because the internal dimensions is 15 inches deep, so you can fit bigger molds into it. Yeah. 12 and a half inches around and then 15 inches deep.
That's good size.
And I have a couple of molds that I would love to pressure cast, but I can't because it won't fit in that one. So yes, it's like $600, but we've been doing a lot more pressure casting lately, so we've decided to make the investment. Okay. Thank you, American Express, for sending me an email telling me there is news about my card. It's never great news. It's never like, we paid off your last month's statement for you. Yeah. You're welcome.
Somebody paid your bill for Christmas.
All right, enough on that one. Thanks for the question, Yanara, and good luck with your specific thing. Our buddy Lee says, "Have you ever used Epsilon Pro? Have you, Eric?"
I have.
Yeah.
You have too.
Yes, I have. How does it compare to the old Epsilon in terms of durability, flexibility, standability, applicability? You have a video on that, don't you?
I actually don't.
Oh, but you have a video using the Pro?
Regular Epsilon. I haven't done a Pro video yet.
Okay.
That's on the list of videos to do, and it's probably never going to get done.
All right. Well, at least you can tell us what you think right now.
Yes to all. I don't have any bad things to say about it.
Is it just basically better than the normal Epsilon? Like if you use Epsilon going forward for most of your projects,
I'll use Pro.
You're just gonna get the Pro.
I'm just gonna use Pro. Okay. Yeah. It's like Epsilon but better, and less issues with cracking and those kind of things. They kind of, I was told that they kind of formulated it specifically for armor and stuff, because it's become such a popular thing. It works. It's pretty much spreads just like the regular. It sands just as easily, and it just has the durability. So I don't have any reason to go back.
Britt put a link in there, and we'll share this link too. Smooth On has on their website a comparison.
Yeah, their new site's great.
This is so cool.
Yeah, their new site's awesome.
So you can put in a couple of different products, like I've done. Here we go. Here is Epsilon, and here is Epsilon Pro. It shows the mix ratio by volume. So with one of the nice things about Epsilon Pro is it's 2-to-1 by volume, really easy.
Yeah, so you don't have to have a scale to mix it. It
higher,
has a longer pot life.
Higher pot life, lower shore hardness, so it's a little more flexible. The recoat time, the working time, the mix viscosity. So you can do that with any of their products, which is really kind of cool.
Yeah, I don't have any bad things to say about it.
Yes. So. I will point out, too, I get a lot of people asking me questions about silicones and resins and urethanes and epoxies. I know a lot about this stuff, but I don't know nearly as much as the guys that make it. And the guys at Smooth On are awesome about answering your questions.
Yeah, they are. Anytime I've ever emailed them, I usually hear back from them within the day. Sometimes within a couple hours, just kind of depending on how busy their customer service is.
They're awesome.
And they'll give you all kinds of information.
So big thumbs up, Epsilon Pro.
And Smooth On.
And Smooth On in general. All right. Have fun with that one, Lee. Next one's from Brandon. A long while ago, I asked you about making a Vex Minotaur cosplay. I was wondering, what was the brand and color spray paint that was used in the Vex Goblin cosplay? Britt did that, and she's provided a link. to the Angelus bronze paint. This is an acrylic paint, a leather paint. Let's see here. There it is. Angelus bronze paint. And it's nice. It's really, I like this stuff a lot.
Yeah, it looks great. And it's really durable.
It's super durable. There you go. Just go get that. And it's not that expensive either. And if you live here and you go to McPherson's Leather Supply.
Oh, the leather supply shop.
Yeah,
they
and
sell it
you
there,
have
right?
a business license.
Oh,
you can get a discount.
Nice.
Just saying.
I'll have to keep that in mind.
Do you have a business license?
No,
Okay.
I'll have to get a business license. Yeah,
I do.
I know.
I'm going to be the
Wait, do they have your
paint
account?
supplier.
Do they have your account there?
Yeah. So you
like,
just just put that on the Punish Props account.
Punish Props, you know. Paint on the slide.
Chris here from Broken Blade Workshop is working on a 2-part mold of a 10mm pistol from Fallout 4. Awesome. I was just playing that last night. Thing is, I want to have the magazine capable of sliding in and out of the handle. Any advice for allowing the handle to be otherwise hollow without compromising the mold strength? That is a hard one. This has come up before. I remember someone had a question about doing that with a mold, a gun from Halo. The problem is you're going to have this long, thin plug of silicone where the magazine goes, and
it sort of has to free float.
It's got to just kind of float there.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a way that people would do that. I've never tackled it myself. You'll definitely need, if you're just going to have a long, thin piece of silicone, it will have to be a higher shore hardness, so like 30 or higher of your silicone. Excuse me. But you're probably going to have to do something like a 3-part mold. And if you can do it in some way so that that plug is hanging down, straight down,
yeah,
so that it's not going to bend at all because of gravity, then that'll help as well. But you're dipping into 3-part mold territory, and that's a challenging place to be.
Yeah, either 3-part mold or a whole lot of dremeling.
Yeah, just cast it solid and then just route it
grind
out.
it out.
Yeah, that sounds terrible.
Doesn't it though?
That sounds so terrible.
Yeah.
Good luck, Chris. Mold making. That is a challenging thing to do in mold making. All right, of course I say that, but Frank would probably be like, "Oh, here's the one way to do it."
Oh yeah, no doubt. Well, did you see the molds for the what are the dudes they built for BlizzCon? The Murlocs?
Oh yeah.
Did you see those molds when you were there? Those things were amazing.
They're so cool.
Because they have those big plugs in them, so they can, because it has like the really thin skin. Basically, the costume was just incredible molds.
All right, Willow887. I wonder if that's we have a cat named Willow. I wonder if that's her online handle.
Oh yeah.
I'm working on starting a YouTube channel. I was wondering if you think it is important to have all the social media accounts up and running before you post on YouTube. I don't think so. I think more important than anything is that you post a new video every week.
Yeah.
That's it.
Religiously post on YouTube.
Post a new video every week for 2 years. That's like the secret. I did. I kept track of this. Actually, we're gonna take a.
You guys are just cranking out videos too. So
yeah. Well, now.
Yeah, I know, but that's like, I mean, there's a reason why I do a video like once every 6 months.
I have stats and archive data. We're gonna dip into.
And you're a list guy.
This. Oh wait, that's not the folder. I do have all my prop and costume projects completed and
amazing.
all conventions attended.
Yeah.
I have to update this list though. This is all conventions attended. This is most of them since 2008. My first convention was Tall Ships Tacoma.
Dang, bro.
So that's yeah. Anyway, I don't know where I put my other list. Anyway, I have a list of every year how many videos I did and how many subscribers we got. And it should be here. It should be here. Anyway, I do know though the first year I did YouTube, I did 12 videos, so one a month, and I got about 200 subscribers. In a year, right? The next year, I did probably like 70 or 80 videos. I did like one every week at least.
Yeah, once a week.
And I got maybe 4,000 or 5,000 subscribers in that year. And then I did that again, and we got like 20,000 subscribers. And this is 3 years
3 years,
in.
yeah.
Then this year we've done, I think, almost 200 already. And we got another a year ago, I think we had 50 or 60,000. We're up to 127 now. So you can see how more important than anything, put out a new video every single week. Just be consistent. Working on social media, doing all that other stuff, you can do that along with it. And the more you've invested into the channel, the more you'll want to put more effort into that other stuff. But if you're not making the content, it doesn't matter if you have the social or have the Twitter handle or the
because and also a lot of times even if you do Facebook, for example, their wonderful algorithms tend to weed out links to especially YouTube, because they're competitors. So even having that presence isn't going to necessarily bring you much,
right? And if you don't have anything to post about, if you don't have a new video to post about, then there's no point in being on top of social media.
Chicken or the egg.
Yeah, make the content first.
Yeah, content is king.
Yeah, and don't worry about having the right camera, the right microphone, the right content. Just make the content, and it'll get better over time as you invest more into it. All right. Good question, Willow. Crunchable 4,000. I find it suspect that there were 3,999 other Crunchables out there. Crunchable wants to know, I'm building a 2-scale diva costume, and I'm wondering if you have any experience with maneuvering extremely large costumes. So the mech, I'm guessing you're making.
Yeah, must be talking about Diva's mech.
Maneuvering extremely large costumes, especially in regards to doorways. You would want a handler, right? No matter what you do mechanically, you want to have 1 or 2 friends to help you out.
Yes.
So like Steven always had a couple of handlers.
And his costume was actually pretty simple as far as getting in and out of stuff compared to some of the other really large costumes. Absolutely. Hey
Patch just pointed out, I've been on about a month of video and I got about 200 subscribers. And if you guys aren't subscribed to Hey Patch's channel, you should go check it out. I think it's pretty great. Anyway, if you're looking for construction advice, go look at and see how
Warhammer.
Look how the Warhammer guys put theirs together. Gary Sturley has a really good build log on his Facebook page, Gary Sturley Studios.
Yeah. And
then Steve did a really good write-up of his orc build on the RPF.
His orc build, as far as the engineering of it, is really impressive. Mm-hmm. He does need help getting in and out of it because the pieces are so large, but the amount of the small amount of strapping and that he has and stuff he has to do, and even just the way he built out hands to where you just kind of put your arms there and grab some posts and the hands are on. Mm-hmm. That was probably one of the most impressive things. I mean, the costume looks amazing anyway, but the simplicity of his engineering behind it was really cool to see for me.
So there you go. There's a couple of examples for you to go check out, Crunchable. And good luck on your giant costume. Nick over at Modulus Props wants to know, I just watched the new test video on the Glowforge laser cutter, and I'd love to get my hands on one of those. What's the next major tool that you'd like to add to your shop? I haven't watched that video yet, but... Is
there a new one? I didn't know there was a new tested video. A new tested Glowforge video.
Well, I have a laser cutter. It's not the
you have a lot of fancy tools already. So
I do.
Probably another...
I want that Form 2 back.
I would say another printer. I was going to say, it has to be a printer. I know it has to be a printer. Absolutely.
I do. No, I want actually, while I was down in Frank's shop last week, we filmed, he's got I don't need a Bridgeport mill. Because it wouldn't fit in my basement. No. But a mill nonetheless.
Yeah.
In any form would be amazing. You can do metal on it, but also all the plastic bits I've been working on today, I could chuck up in the mill and do some fun stuff. So a metal working lathe and a mill would be amazing. Yeah. How about you?
My next purchase will probably be a small benchtop lathe.
Ooh.
Like woodworking lathe. Yeah. So I don't have one, and every time I go to the cylindrical things, it's like, I should have a lathe for this.
Pretty awesome.
And I always use workarounds and they work, but a lathe will probably be.
I've got
and
that.
I'd really like to have a laser cutter as well, but that's just more of an investment. So
the lathe I have is the cheap one from Harbor Freight.
Yeah.
The smallest woodworking one that they make. It was like $120. I've had it for years. I haven't killed it yet, and I have definitely gotten every penny out of that thing.
Yeah.
Now, I will buy a good woodworking or a metalworking lathe that can do everything that machine can do, but at the time, totally worth every penny.
Yeah, sometimes those tools are, great.
Yeah.
So
the only thing that I haven't been able to do on that so far is the length on it. So the barrel I did for Nova's rifle, I had to do in 2 pieces.
Do it in sections, yeah.
But most of the time I'm making things that big.
Yeah, a lot of times you don't need like super long things.
Throw a hunk of tooling foam in there and just lathe something up real fast. It's great to have. And like I said, $120 new. And it hasn't died yet. It might soon. It's kind of a cheap chintzy tool. All right, that's a good sign though. If you buy a tool from Harbor Freight and it's a cheapo one, and you use it so much that you kill it, then that's a good sign.
That's a good sign that you need you need to invest. Yeah.
All right, Nick. Nope, that was from Nick. Thank you, Nick. Let's see here. Have fun with your. Oh, he's not necessarily getting a Glowforge, but if you do, their laser cutters are neat.
Yeah, I really hope the Glowforge.
Hey, Patch has a question. He's almost finished his Shore Trooper armor, but I'm having trouble trying to figure out how to construct the ab plate, or as he says, the tummy armor. I'm wondering if anyone has any good tips or tricks when it comes to making tummy armor. He would like to be able to sit down. Wouldn't we all? Here's the Shore Trooper. That is based on the normal Stormtrooper armor, and you could just build it the way they do it with vacuum form pieces.
Yeah. But
you won't be able to sit down.
No. I just, it doesn't look like there's any way you can build flexibility into that.
Yep. Unless it's cast out of
rubber.
Yeah. You could do it all in foam and just have it be kind of bendable. I will say with my Shepherd armor, it is all foam, and there's the chest part, and then there's the ab part, and the ab part slides under.
Oh.
It's hanging from nylon straps, so that when I bend over, it kind of
slips in behind.
Under. So you could maybe do something like that. So there's just a couple of nylon straps with a little bit of play in there, so that it slides under it. And I did it all in foam. You could probably do something similar with that, or you could just vacuum form it like they do in the 501st, and then you can sit down.
That's right.
Let's grab the next one from Deathbright. There's an odd shape with my armor, and it looks like it's one piece. It goes around the neck. How would you guys do it? Oh, he's got a picture. There's some Zach Fisher artwork.
Yep.
That's pretty fantastic. And I will say, too, I was talking to Zach at RenCon, and he was talking about how he's put a lot more effort into more of his recent designs to make them
more wearable,
more buildable, more wearable,
friendly. Yeah.
So, he's curious about the neck. I plan to have the chest armor open at the side so I can get in, but no idea on how to pattern the thing. If you start with like a torso, like either a mannequin that you buy, or do a plaster casting of your torso, or a duct tape dummy, you can start patterning right on there, and that's what I do for all of my armor. So you can kind of build stuff on there and figure it out in 3-dimensional space with a lot of trial and error. How do you do? So for your Calhoun armor, what did you do to pattern that?
Similar, except for I just made a duct tape dummy and then patterned it right on top of that. So
that'll do it. Cool.
But as far as the neck section,
yeah, I mean it's just gonna be trial and error. You just gotta try and stumble your way through it.
I mean it's kind of like a big wide open neck, so.
Yeah, and when I look at it, the picture, I can tell this is just not. It's completely 2-dimensional.
Yeah,
You're gonna have to modify it a little bit for it to actually fit and work on your shoulders. So, good luck.
Yeah. So basically, we don't know.
Yeah.
Although I have seen a couple other people do that design, and you might want to.
All right,
I'm sure you've done research, so.
Let's grab a couple more questions.
Good luck, Deathbright.
Thank you. Thank you guys for all the questions so far. Let's grab a couple more. Team Fett wants to know if I have a substitute for Poly Latex 60. A bucket is a lot. I don't. I use that and it works, so I have no reason to try any other latexes. But I'm pretty sure you can buy it in smaller than a bucket on their website. Poly Latex 60. Let's take a look here. Let's go on a journey.
Do they have like a trial size or something?
I think so.
Most places,
pretty sure.
Most places do.
Yeah. This
2 pounds.
Yeah, this is $40. That's the smallest amount, but you're going to want to use all of that, so I wouldn't get any less than that. I went in with a friend. Here's another thing. This this 40 pounds of it. This is what we bought, but me and Mario split that.
Oh yeah.
So I went in with a friend, and that's lasted us half of a bucket. That's lasted us a couple of years, and probably 4 or 5 costumes. So there you go. Go in with a friend or buy the smaller amount. But I would rather get too much and not run out.
And have to pay for shipping again.
Ted's just yelling praises in the chat. Poly latex is God.
Wow, Ted really likes the poly latex.
Corey of 9 says, Bill does juggling. Does Coregeek have any hidden talents?
I am okay at juggling.
A hidden talent? I don't know.
Yeah. Whoop.
What's considered a talent?
I don't know. I'll juggle. You can figure it out. Whoop, 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 whoop. Nothing?
Nothing comes to mind. I'm pretty good at baking. Is that a talent?
Yeah, that is. What's your favorite thing to bake?
I like to make pies. And I also like to make cinnamon rolls. I have a really great cinnamon roll recipe.
Yeah.
That uses coffee in the glaze for it.
Oh, it sounds really good.
It's like an orange coffee glaze.
I haven't had dinner yet.
It's so good.
That sounds really good.
I make those around Christmas time.
Yeah?
Sometimes.
All right. Cool.
So, there you go.
Let me know.
Is that a talent?
Let me know when you're cooking those. I will drive up there.
Hey, if you want to come to my house, I'll make you cinnamon.
Awesome.
I'll make you cinnamon rolls.
Awesome. You just tell me when the cinnamon rolls are happening,
okay,
and I will be there.
I will.
Okay. Chris Sostum in the chat says that we should do a
cooking stream.
That actually does sound really fun.
That would be fun.
Cool. I think that's a good place to end it. Thank you guys so much for all of the questions. You guys are awesome. You wonderful, wonderful prop tarts in the chat. Eric, where should people go?
The easiest way to find me is my website, coregeek.net.
Look at that.
At the bottom of every page on my site is all of the links to my social stuff. So if you want to find my social, I'm there. I haven't been on for a couple weeks, but I've been Twitch streaming quite a bit. So look out for shout outs if I'm going to be on a Twitch stream. And yeah, so I'm at all the usual.
Cool.
And just type in Coregeek and you'll find me.
Very good. You heard him, guys. Go check out all of his things. Follow him on Twitch, and the Facebooks and all the things. As for the rest of us, I got Mel's gun. I'm going to be finishing up here and have a video up on Monday. That's the plan. I should have a 3D printing video up before then too. And at some point, I might find time to sleep.
Hey, I see TNT cosplay there. So
hey guys.
Thanks for stopping by. I love your foam. I tell everybody about it.
It's so good. All right, everybody. That has been an episode of Prop Live, and we will see you all next week.
See y'all.